Hello, Internet. My name is Roro, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone's having a good day. Today, I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind a lot lately as I'm trying to change behaviors and get out of bad habits, especially with thinking. Watching yourself is the first step of changing behavior. And this is not something that I realized in this perspective until recently, so let's get into it. Basically, what this comes down to is in order to make any change, you have to know what is happening that's causing the thing you're trying to change. You can't change something if you don't know why something is happening. Because if you do it in that way, you're just going to be putting a band aid on it. You're going to be potentially fixing the symptom and not the root cause. For example, I eat a lot of crappy food, and part of it is laziness. And I always just blame myself, like, I'm just being lazy. I just don't feel like getting something healthy. But that may be part of it. But the root cause is I'm eating my emotions, essentially. And I've noticed this from watching my behavior, tracking how I'm feeling when I'm doing certain things. And this is included in that. Essentially, I noticed that when I'm eating a lot of bullshit that I don't normally eat, or at least more of, it's usually because I'm feeling stressed or I'm feeling anxious or I need some sort of release and some sort of quick, instant gratification. And food is so good for that because you need to eat food. There's a lot of bad habits that people fall into that are not necessary for survival, but you need to eat food to survive. So it's an easy one to go to because it satisfies you on a deeper level because it's in a way aiding your survival. And that doesn't make it okay to eat unhealthy, but it's a different mentality than like doing a drug or something along those lines. And something that's really pressing in your life that you want to change, it's not going to be obvious necessarily why it's happening. Like, I'm the type of person that I like to think that I'm very aware of myself and aware of everything I'm doing and why, but sometimes things go deeper than you think, and you're not going to notice that unless you observe your behavior. And you have to try to do it from as objective as a point of view as possible. And getting down on yourself, oh, I'm lazy, like I was saying before, like stuff that I do, that's not objective, that's subjective. You're putting your own feelings and emotions into a situation, even if it is about you. There is a more objective way to look at things. And that also might seem counterintuitive to like getting to the root of emotional issues, but sometimes you have to go at it from a different angle to get to that point because you're clouding yourself with other emotions if you're not giving yourself the ability to see something from an outside perspective. That I probably could have worded that a little bit more concisely, but whatever. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. And I kind of touched on this, but the most important thing here is to not judge yourself. You need to observe your actions. If you feel an inclination to do something, if it's something that you normally do, instead of just doing it and immediately feeling guilt and shame, which is something else that I've talked about on this channel, let yourself just do the thing as long as you're not hurting other people and really hurting yourself to an extent that's considered self-harm. Just let it happen. Watch yourself do it. And then over time, the simple act of observing is going to make you subconsciously change your behavior because you like to think that you're alone when you do things, but in reality, you are watching yourself, you are observing yourself, you are judging yourself. So there is always going to be that separation. And I think that's something that people can use to an advantage to change their behaviors. And for me, this is not something that comes easily. I have a really hard time perceiving myself, and I really don't know how people perceive me. And it's not something that I put any thought into. A lot of times I will consciously not think about it because I just don't want to know. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, I don't care if people talk shit about me. I don't care if people don't like me. I just don't want to know. Even if people do like me and do like the things that I do and say, I'd rather just not know because all that's going to do is influence me because I'm predetermined to be influenced by other people. I think a lot of people are, but because of my borderline personality disorder, I have a really hard time dealing with a sense of self. So the best way for me to combat that is to just not worry about other people's perception of me and just be myself, be the best version of myself that I can be, or at least the version of myself that I want to be and I'm striving to be. And I think this is something that people in general are starting to do more naturally. And I think a lot of it is because of COVID and lockdown the past 2.5 years or so. People have been forced to reflect on their own lives and their own behaviors and their own verbalizations, the things that they think in a mass way that has never existed before, at least in our lifetime. So I think there's a lot of people that really don't think about this stuff and are now starting to think about it. And I think overall that's a good thing. And something to consider here is change is never easy, especially if it's something that you are changing about yourself. No matter what you do, that's not going to be easy unless you're super 100% confident, gung ho in one direction, like this needs to happen. Maybe something in your life happens that just completely changes your perspective. That's not going to happen all the time, which is probably for the best because a lot of times when that does happen, whatever happened to make you change was not the best situation to be in. Again, I'm always talking to myself in these videos, so I need to just let myself change as it happens. And as long as I have the intention and I'm putting forth that mental effort to observe and want to make changes, that's going to lead me down a better path. And inevitably, the change will be more permanent than if I try to just quickly patch things up and then it just explodes down the road, which is something that has happened to me. So I'm trying to change how I perceive everything and how I go about change in my life. And I think that's all my thoughts for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I put out a new video every Sunday. I have a bunch of other videos on my channel talking about similar topics. I also stream on Twitch if you want to check me out there. I have a Discord server if you want to come connect there. Both of those links in the description. And I make a little bit of music for every video, so I'm going to play that now, and I'll see you guys next time.